And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. Now, if you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And then if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, folks. However you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. I mean, I don't even know if there's any more ways I can get y'all covered, but there is. If there is, let me know and I'll try to work it out for y'all. Alrighty, so today is a big old Friday. Tomorrow we got playoffs, baby. 1, 4, 8 o'clock, and then Sunday we do it all over again. So today we make our official picks. We're picking every game, folks. We already like to pick 6 picks, and there's 6 games this weekend, so absolutely fantastic. We're picking them all. We're going to hit on all these, folks. I mean, we're feeling very good. Even though that 3 picks have to go into our kind of 99% category, we're still feeling very confident on our picks. So that's our main topic today on the show, the picks. We reacted to the lines yesterday. We slept on them, and I didn't even need to sleep on them. I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, yep, this is exactly what I want to do. These are the picks right now. So feeling very, very confident about these. All right. Before we get into that, let's jump into our stories. Not a lot of stories today, but some decent ones. So here we go. Giants waive Devonta Freeman. Unfortunate for him. I really wanted to see him kind of get back into the rhythm. He was on IR 5 games into the season, so a little premature end of his season. Unfortunately, the Giants don't need him anymore. They got Gallman, and they expect Saquon Barkley to be back. So I hope Devonta Freeman gets picked up by somebody. Give this man a chance as another, as a good, kind of backup running back. I think he can still play. His time in Atlanta was decent. His very short time here in the Giants I thought was pretty good. So want to see this man back in the league, get back at it. Hopefully a team picks this man up. Alrighty, here we go. Juju SmithSchuster, a long quote here. I don't know. This man didn't learn his lesson from dancing on the logo, so I don't understand. But this is the quote that we get from Juju SmithSchuster. Here we go. The question was Juju SmithSchuster on the rivalry with the Browns. This is what he had to say, quote, "I think they're still the same Browns team I play every year. I think they're nameless gray faces. They have a couple good players on their team, but at the end of the day, the Browns is the Browns." I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm all for, shit talking, talk your shit. I've got no problem with that. I talk shit when I'm playing competitively. I've got no problem with it. But you have to understand that it puts added pressure on you. Now you have to go out and perform and back up everything you just said. Plus, it fuels the fire on the other team. Hence, dancing on their logo on the road. I mean, what were you thinking? You just give free momentum to the other team. I mean, it's not a smart strategy, but I'm not going to knock somebody for talking shit, because I literally have no problem with that. Talk all the shit you want, just back it up, and if you don't, then you're going to have to eat the words that other people give you. So it's unnecessary. Especially since you've already been caught doing it earlier this season, and I mean, they kind of knocked your head off. Who was it? Was it the Colts that knocked them out? Was that it? So, you're just adding fuel to the fire. He's doing it here again with the Browns. Browns are already going through COVID. Now you're fueling the fire even more. Playoff game, rivalry game, and you're just adding extra fire that really doesn't need to be there. But, hey, you do what you do. So we'll see Juju SmithSchuster. Hopefully he doesn't fumble the ball like he did the last time he danced on the, logo. So we'll see what he's got here. But Juju SmithSchuster, not the smartest decision, but we're not knocking him for it. Alrighty, here we go. Most receptions by running backs in 2020. Number 1 is Alvin Kamara with 83. Number 2 is J.D. McKissick with 80. And then number 3, this is why I want to bring it up, is Nyheim Hines, 64. Who does he play for? The Colts. And why has Phillip Rivers been having a little bit more success than kind of I anticipated? It's because he's using Nyheim Hines out of the backfield, folks. I mean, we know Phillip Rivers isn't airing it out. If he is, it's only going to T.Y. Hilton, because they're not that deep at wide receiver. Pittman Jr., he's pretty decent, but, he hasn't really established himself as, a true number 2 or even close to number 1. Nyheim Hines here, he's got 64 receptions this season, and we have kind of seen a drop-off of Phillip Rivers going to Nyheim Hines in the backfield the last, 3-4 weeks, maybe even longer than that. You could probably go maybe 6 weeks, that this man, Phillip Rivers, has really not been just giving it to Nyheim Hines out of the backfield, and they've been struggling a little bit. We just saw them, struggle offensively the last 2 weeks, so, I think Phillip Rivers' most success here is because Nyheim Hines is out of the backfield, and it also helps that Jonathan Taylor has just been absolutely running all over the place these last 4 or 5 weeks as well. So the running game started to take off now that Phillip Rivers is not dinking and dunking in the backfield anymore. So we'll see how this plays out. If Frank Reich continues not to go to Nyheim Hines and just continues to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor, we'll see how the game plan shakes out. But I think the lack of targets for Nyheim Hines these last 5-6 weeks is why Phillip Rivers is struggling offensively throwing the ball. Alrighty, and then the last story. This is what the NFL tweeted out. This was this was when they post this. Yeah, this was today. Okay, yeah, all right. 12:30. This is not me. Oh, okay. It was this morning. Okay. All right. 12:30 a.m. I was like, hang on. This tweet came from the future? 23 minutes in the future? But no, it came at midnight this morning. The NFL put out this tweet. The Colts' best plays of the season that have them ready for Super Wildcard Weekend. It's a 2-minute, 40-second highlight clip. I have not watched this yet, but I want to see how many of the best plays of the Colts this week are actually Phillip Rivers going like 15 yards down the field. Because I'm going to guess right now and be like maybe one. They'll probably have at least one. T.Y. Hilton, big shot over the middle while he's probably wide open. That's probably going to be the only passing play of 15 yards that we see of Phillip Rivers. Now, we may see some dink and dunk to Nyheim Hines that rips off for 30, but that's not Phillip Rivers doing all the work. So we're going to just watch this highlight tape. I have not watched this yet, and we're going to see how many good plays we see from Phillip Rivers, because I'm guessing it's no more than one, folks, and we got 2 minutes and 41 seconds here. A lot of plays you can fit in that time span. So without further ado, let's run this tape. It's new to me. Hopefully it's new to y'all, and we'll see. We can go big screen here. Let's go big screen and see how many good plays are by Phillip Rivers. So here we go. Play one. It's going to be the defense, and it's going to be, what do we got here? A pick by Sam Darnold, and he's going to go all the way for a pick six. So that's got nothing to do with Phillip Rivers, and that's one of the Colts' best plays this season. And then play number two. Oh, my goodness, so they're going to pick Sam Darnold off again? They do. Oh, boy, this one going to be a pick six as well. And it is. All right, so 2 plays. Haven't seen Phillip Rivers air it out yet. All right, let's see what else we get. Here we go. Phillip Rivers. All right. This was a good one. We'll give Phillip Rivers. This was actually a real good play. Can we rewind this at all? Let's see. Here we go. Wanted to watch this pass one more time by Phillip Rivers. Here it is. It's about a 25-yard pass, so we'll give him credit. Yeah, okay, all right. That was a good pass by Phillip Rivers. Now again against the Bengals again. That's a good pass too. So he's already got 2. Darn it. Make me look like a liar out here. But it's against the Bengals, the same team. Can we really count that as 2 different plays? Here we go. This one. There it is. Swing out. Is that Hines? Is that Hines? I think that's Hines. Nyheim Hines, baby. There it is. I mean, this is what we're saying. Nyheim Hines right there. Swing out of the backfield. All right, this one. Oh, okay, this is a good ball. And once again, to Nyheim Hines. I mean, yeah, it's not out of the backfield, but he's still throwing to a running back on a wheel route. And now we're back to a pick six. So I'll give Phillip Rivers, let's mark down at least 3 good plays so far, because those were all pretty good balls. All right, then we're back to a pick six there. Phillip Rivers, just a 10-yard route. Pittman Jr. is going to do it all here. So we're not going to count that one. That was just Pittman Jr. doing good. All right, the next play, a kicking play. What else we got? Well done, Blankenship winning the game against Green Bay early in the season, week 10. Once again, just a swing route to, this is not Nyheim Hines. Is this Jonathan Taylor? Their number 1 back, I would say. And another defensive play. I mean, holy cow. I mean, so far we've already seen like 4 interceptions, 3 being pick sixes, and 3 big plays by Phillip Rivers. A handoff here, Jonathan Taylor. And he is gone. Holy cow. This is what I'm telling y'all. These running backs for the Colts is the best thing about the Colts. Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor. We got another one here, and it's another pick. So we now have officially more picks by the Colts defense than good plays by Phillip Rivers. Folks, the man cannot play that good. What else we got? We got more plays here. Another Phillip Rivers handoff. Jonathan Taylor. This is the one that won them the game. To seal it away. 4 minutes left in the game. I know we didn't get to it on Wednesday, but this was it right here. That iced the game against the Jags. The Indianapolis, that was their only points in the second half of last week, folks. A Jonathan Taylor 40-yard touchdown run with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the game to put them up by 2 possessions. So Phillip Rivers, he had 3 good passes. We saw 3 pick sixes. We saw 5 interceptions. We saw 3 big runs by Jonathan Taylor. We saw 4 big runs by Nyheim Hines out of the backfield catching balls. So Phillip Rivers, folks, we like the Colts team. Don't get me wrong. It's a solid team. This is definitely a playoff caliber team. It's just Phillip Rivers cannot carry this team any longer. He's getting at the end of the season. He's fizzling out, doing classic Phillip Rivers things. He has trouble airing out the ball. I mean, we'll quickly go back to one of these passes. Look at the windup that this man's using. It's literally like he's throwing his entire body. Just watch this, man. He's just flinging it. His whole body is in all the movements of these throws. One more time. That one didn't show too well, but I swear that's true. Let's see on this one. Just kind of shoulders it. That's such a great ball. This one's a great ball. That's probably the best ball I've seen Phillip Rivers throw all season. I'll give him this one. But once again, it's going to Nyheim Hines, folks. He's the third leading running back with the most receptions. So that's what we get from the Colts. Best plays of the season. Really not Phillip Rivers too much. You know what I mean? Alrighty, let's quickly shift gears to the NBA. A couple of games on last night. We'll start here with 76ers and the Nets. And the Nets beat the 76ers with no Kyrie and no Kevin Durant. Very well done. That just speaks to how deep this Nets team is and also how good of a coach Steve Nash is for not having a coach, according to Kyrie Irving. So very well done to the Nets. They beat the 76ers. That's a tough opponent. I mean, you got Doc Rivers coaching fabulous over there. Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons getting it done. So the Nets end up winning. So very well done. Let's see who stepped up big for the Nets here. Is it the usual suspects that we saw in the bubble last season? Let's see what we get here. Jared Allen with 15 points, Karis LeVert with 22 points, Joe Harris with 28 points. So, yes, it is the usual suspects. You love to see it. I mean, this team is so deep, folks. I mean, DeAndre Jordan, he played 18 minutes, and he only had 2 points, but he had 11 rebounds. They're so deep. I mean, you've got Joe Harris off the bench. You got Timothy Luwawe Cabaret on the bench who contributed 9 big points in only, 26 minutes. He played, more minutes because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving didn't play. So, look at the starters here, look at their contribution, and then they still have 2 of the top 10 NBA players in the league right now out. So this Nets team is deep. They're good. They're well coached. They already have this kind of winning culture that they established early in the bubble last season. So very well done to the Nets. Very well done to Steve Nash. I don't want to see anybody disrespecting Steve Nash as a coach. That's why I kind of had a little bit of a problem when Kyrie Irving says, yeah, it's kind of like basically we have no coach here. Slow your roll, my guy. Play 9 straight games, and then maybe we can talk a little bit. But all right. Cavs getting back on track here, beating the Grizzlies 94-90. Very well done. Let's give a little shout out to these Cavs players doing work. Who had the biggest contribution here? Andre Drummond with 22 points and 15 rebounds. Very, very well done. He shot 45%, which isn't good, but hey, you're the leading scorer and you led your team to a win, so I can get behind it. All right, Larry Nance Jr., very well done, 18 points. C.D. Osman, 16 points. He had 7 assists as well. So just, getting it done. No big names on this team. Probably you put, Andre Drummond, maybe Larry Nance Jr., C.D. Osman. All these players have played with LeBron. I don't think Andre Drummond, but Larry Nance Jr., C.D. Osman have. So no big names on this team. They're all just getting it done. You see JaVale McGee, he just came off playing with LeBron. He's a champion. He played with the Warriors. So, I mean, they've got some key pieces here, a lot of role players, and they're all making it work. So we'll see how long this Cavs team can go with a lot of role players. We see the Raptors struggling heavily this season, and they're kind of, the same as this kind of Cavs team role players that maybe are elevated a little bit more since they won a chip in the Raptors. But very well done to the Cavs getting the win. All right, Mavericks get on track. They win and beat the Nuggets 124-117. And just for this Nuggets team, Jokic and Murray, it's just not enough, unfortunately. We saw, in the playoffs last season, would they get to the second round? I think they lost the second round. I don't think they made it. Did they make it to the Western Conference Championship? I don't think so. But anyway, it's just they need an extra oomph. They need that third star here. Murray's good. Jokic is good. They need that third player. Bobo, not playing. I would like to see him a little bit more into the lineup a little bit. But, he's really not playing. And I don't understand why. It's like every time he plays in, they really only play him, during preseason. But, he always goes out there and dominates. So I wonder what the difference is. What does the coaching staff of the Denver Nuggets see that Bobo should not be, getting into the game really at any point? I don't get it. I really don't. So got to keep an eye on this Nuggets team. They are kind of fizzling out a little bit. All right, I believe this game, this game did go into overtime. Very, very close game. But Denver could not get it done. Unfortunate. Alrighty, then we go to Spurs and Lakers, and the Spurs upsetting the Lakers. Holy cow, Lakers. I mean, the Spurs always play them close. Greg Popovich is always a great coach. We see here LaMarcus Aldridge, 28 points. Very well done. Let's see what else we got. DeMar DeRozan, he played. He did play. Yes, he did. 19 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Solid work there. As I said, LaMarcus Aldridge, 28 points. DeJounte Murray, 18 points. Lonnie Walker Jr., 14 points. Patty Mills, 10 points. Rudy Gay, 15 points. That is solid contribution from their bench. I'd love to see that. So, very well done to the Spurs. They're looking to get back into the playoffs. Their playoff streak got ruined last season, and Greg Popovich does not want to not be in the playoffs again. So, very well done. Spurs are 4-4. Lakers dropped to 6-3. Did Anthony Davis play for the Lakers? Or was it just LeBron? He did play. Yeah, that's what I thought. 23 points, 10 rebounds, and they still can't get it done. So who was not doing their part here on the Lakers? We got LeBron with 27, AD with 23. That's basically what you want from them. 12 assists along with LeBron James, 10 rebounds along with Anthony Davis. So we got Kyle Kuzma, 13 points. He shot 1 of 6 from 3. Not great, but he did put up 13 points, so I may be able to let it slide. Dennis Schroeder, here it is, only 6 points. Got to do a little bit better, 27% from the field. Ooh, Dennis Schroeder's got to be a little bit better than that. So that's probably where the shortcomings came. Marc Gasol, 4 points, but he only played 13 minutes. You put in Montrezl Harrell, he puts up 10 points. So, center by committee, I guess we can call this, solid work there, over 13 points. But yeah, keep an eye on this Lakers team. They're kind of, you would have expect them to be a little bit better than what are they right now, 6-3. You probably expect them to be, 8-1, 7-2. But not this season. They lost against the Clippers. They lost against the Spurs. Blanking on their third loss. I don't think it was the Spurs again. Did they lose twice to the Spurs? I think they won their first meeting. LeBron gets it done. They win by 2 in the fourth quarter. All right, and then the last game, Blazers blowing out the Timberwolves. Blazers win 135-117. Let's quickly go over the Blazers of who's putting in work for them here early in the season. Derrick Jones Jr., 9 points. All right. Is he on? He's on the Blazers now? Derrick Jones Jr.? Like to see that. I want to see this man get a little bit more work. So 9 points here. He's in the starting rotation. I can get behind that. Yusuf Nurkic, 17 points. CJ McCollum, 20 points, and look at that, Damian Lillard dropping 39 points and 7 assists and 7 rebounds, and he shot 62% from the field, so that man's going off. You get Carmelo off the bench with 9 points, solid contribution there. Enes Kanter off the bench, 10 points. Gary Trent Jr. off the bench, 9 points. I mean, they're pretty deep here in Portland here. Love to see that. You got your 2 main stars, CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard. Then you get the bench of Carmelo and Enes Kanter, Gary Trent Jr. So this team is pretty deep, folks. They're only 4-4, so they're starting to kind of get it figured out. Once again, teams are approaching that kind of 10-game threshold we want to see to really determine, all right, who's legit and who's pretenders. So far, this Blazers team at 4-4, they're trending up a little bit. They're deep. They're good. They've got some players. They got the shooters. That's not the problem. But, they got to get a little bit more wins here. Alrighty, so with that being said, let's jump into our main topic of our official picks. Let's refresh these lines up to date. They should not have changed that much, and I see kind of first glance that they haven't, so that's always good. All right, let's see what we did last week in our picks, because we did very, very good last week. If you ever want to know our official picks, go to takesbyfans.com, go to the daily picks tab, click on the date, and then you'll bring up our picks. So here we go. Last weekend, our 3 locks were Packers -5, folks. They won by 17. Easiest bet of the week. We told you it was the best bet. We told you to take Packers -17. They win by 19. Easy money. So Packers -5. That's hit. Then we went Rams +3.5. They won outright. Not even competitive. The Cardinals put up 7 points the entire game, and that's what we knew. This Rams defense was going to carry them. We don't care what the offense looks like. The defense will take care of everything, and it did that. They went outright. We got them +3.5. Because we locked it in on Thursday, and then we checked on game day. It was +0.5 point for the Rams. So get your value good. We did, and Rams +3.5, perfect there. Then we went Washington -2.5, must-win game for them. And the Eagles blew it in the fourth quarter. Washington wins outright. They win by, I think, 6 points, so -2.5. Bingo there. All 3 of our locks were absolutely on target last week. Love it. All right. And then our 99% guarantees, we had Bucks -7, little bit of a close game with Atlanta in the first half, but then the Bucks pull away in the second half like they do in most games. So love to see that. Bucks -7 hit. I think they won by 20, 18, something about those lines, but definitely more than 7, definitely more than 10. So perfect there. Then our only wrong pick of the week, Bengals +13. We were feeling them a little bit. We saw the signs. We saw the writing on the wall. Unfortunately, we still kind of avoided those signs of all the defensive players being out. So, we still try to roll with it, with the 13, with it being a division game, with it being, Bengals at home, having a chance to upset the Ravens and get them out of the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Ravens were like, no, we're going to blow you guys out. Not even close. We were wrong about Bengals +13. And then we had Steelers +9.5. We thought that was very, very easy money as well. Yes, no Big Ben, and yes, no TJ Watt, and yes, no center for the Steelers, but still going to be a close game because, the receivers for the Steelers were still playing and the DBs for the Steelers were still playing. Close game. The Steelers had a chance to tie it up at 24 right at the end of the game. They miss it, but we had 9.5. They lose by 2. Bingo, bango. Great value there. Great pick. So we went 5 of 6 officially on our picks last week. We're going to be looking to go 6 of 6, and we've got some great picks that makes me very confident that we can at least repeat of what we did last week, but I think we're going to improve and go 6 of 6 officially. And can we just kind of give ourselves a round of applause here? Week 17 going 5 of 6 on our picks. Probably the hardest weeks to bet in the NFL are week 1 and week 17. Week 1, you don't really know who's going to show up, who needs, that kind of extra game, extra practice to get ready, who needs to kind of get adjusted on the field. So you're kind of a crapshoot week 1, so always take the points week 1. And then week 17, some teams aren't playing, some teams are tanking, some teams will pull, the Eagles and bench your starting quarterback in the fourth quarter. So you really have no idea what's going to happen on week 17, but we did. We called it perfectly, so very well done to us. Going through that routine of Monday, breaking everything down, Tuesday, power rankings, cash and trash list, Wednesday, film study, Thursday, guessing at the lines. I'm telling you, guessing the lines makes it real easy to decide if you actually like something or if you don't like something, because if you go in blind and be like, all right, I think the Bucks are going to be, -4 because of these reasons, and then you see them, -1, you're like, oh, I love it, even more. Oh, yes, bet it 100%. Vegas is seeing what I'm seeing, or you'd be like, oh, I got great value there, or it's like, I think it's Bucks -7 this week, and then you look and it's like -14, and now you're like, all right, what did I miss? So I really recommend you guessing the lines yourself before you kind of look at them. It tremendously helps us. It kind of, sets your thinking on par once you're right on, par with Vegas. So guessing and reacting to the lines on Thursday and then making our official picks on Friday. Really, all that goes into having successful picks throughout the week. So we don't do this for nothing, folks. There is a method to our madness, and it definitely pays off here last week. Alrighty, now let's go into our official picks. We've got 6 games. We got 6 picks. We've got 2 categories, 3 picks in each category. Our locks are 99% guarantees. Our 3 picks in our lock section, you can bet whatever you want on those because they will hit. Did you not just see what we did last week? We told you to mortgage your house for $145,000 and you could have won $900,000 last week. Is that my fault? I told y'all. But y'all didn't listen. So they're locks. You can bet whatever you want on these games. 99% guarantees. We still feel very confident, but there is something there that we can maybe predict may happen that will spoil the bet. But we still feel confident about them. So without further ado, here we go. Our locks picks. Our first pick in our locks category is, folks, we've been saying it all week. I told y'all Monday, I told y'all Tuesday, I told y'all Wednesday, and I told y'all yesterday when we reacted to the lines, and I'm telling you again today, Bills -6.5. Love it, love it, love it. Right under that 7 touchdown hook. You love to see it. This Colts team cannot score in the second quarter, folks. They can't do it. They're front loaded. They scored 20 points in the first half, if the defense is not that good, and then they flounder in the second half. We've seen it the last 2 weeks, and these were the last 2 weeks that the Colts really needed to finish strong and show me something and, solidify, secure themselves that last playoff spot that was up for grabs. Luckily for the Colts, the Dolphins lost last week, so they were able to get into the playoffs. If the Dolphins win, we're not even talking about the Colts. And that would have been fine by me because I don't want to talk about the Colts anymore. Can't talk about Phillip Rivers. I'm super over this man. He's a little overrated. He's got longevity, so I get that. But in the grand scheme of things, he hasn't really done anything great in his career. He hasn't, and it's unfortunate. He's got some good record seasons, but does that even matter when you don't have a ring? Look at the NBA with Steph Curry. He set the record 72-9, doesn't have a ring. So does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Now, Steph Curry still has a ring, so we can still, categorize him as, potentially a GOAT. We can't do that with Phillip Rivers because he's got no ring. He doesn't even have one measly ring. And we know a lot of quarterbacks that have rings, and Phillip Rivers is not one of them. All right, Bills. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind, folks. It's wild. It's crazy. I haven't seen anything like it. He's playing fantastic. He's not turning the ball over. That's the biggest thing. We kind of lumped Josh Allen, Phillip Rivers, and Baker Mayfield all into the same category, at the start of the season. And we've been seeing, slowly Baker Mayfield turning it over these last couple weeks, Phillip Rivers turning it over in the second half these last 2 weeks. But the one quarterback that hasn't been turning the ball over these last 2 weeks is Josh Allen, and that's fantastic. Yes, he had the interception against the Dolphins last week, but that was on their first or second drive, and then he cleaned it up for the rest of the game and looked fantastic and then put up 21 points, 28 points in the second quarter. Folks, it was fantastic. So Bills at home, another huge reason why I love this. Phillip Rivers out in the elements. The man's been playing in a dome all season, folks. He's not ready for this cold. Now, it's probably not going to snow in Buffalo, but it's about to be 34 degrees. And Phillip Rivers is not about that life. I can guarantee you that. Why does he play in L.A. and why did he play in Indy? Folks, he does not want to, be outside in the cold. The man wants a dome or warm weather. He's got to go to Buffalo. It's going to be cold there. What else can we talk about? The Colts defense. The Colts defense is fine. It's pretty good, but it doesn't matter. This coaching staff of the Bills, the offensive coordinator, Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, the wide receivers, whoever's having input in the offensive game plan, in the play calling, they are picking apart every single defense, folks. We've seen them pick apart the Seattle's defense coming into Buffalo. We just saw them pick apart Miami's defense coming into Buffalo. So is the Colts defense any better than those two? No, they're not. They're worse, actually. They are worse than those defenses. So, and can we talk about the record? Can we talk about the record real quick? Bills 13-3. They should have been 14-2. Remember DeAndre Hopkins, Hail Murray, they win last second. Now let's talk about the Colts record. I don't even know what they are. Are they 11-5, 10-6? 11-5. We have to take off 2 wins for them. They beat the Colts, or they beat the Texans their first meeting because Deshaun Watson fumbled on the 1-yard line. That was a 6-point game. They score a touchdown. Or I think that was actually the 7-point game. They score a touchdown. They get the extra point. That's a tie game. You don't know what happens in overtime. So take off a win there. We'll say the Texans win that game. Now they're 10-6. Take off the second win against the Texans because it ended in the same fashion. This time they were only down by 6, and Kiki Cutie fumbles on the 2-yard line with 2 seconds left. So take off another win for the Colts. This Colts team truly is a 9-7 team. They're nothing special while the Bills are 14-2. 1 win away from being tied for the number 1 seed in the AFC. These are two different teams. Don't let the Colts record of 11-5 fool you. This is not an 11-5 team, folks, especially these last 2 weeks. They should have lost last week against the Jags. If the Jags played at least one of their weapons, either DJ Chark or their running back, I'm blanking on his name, but if they played one of the 2 receivers or the running back, they would have won that game. They would have won the game because the Colts could not score in the second half. It was 14-20 for the longest time in the second half, but the Jags offense is so pitiful, even with their starters. And could you imagine it without all their starters? Because I watched it, and it was not good. So realistically, we're looking at an 8-8 Colts team. Not good. This Colts team is not good. I'm telling y'all, this is an easy bet here. You get it under the 7-point hook. I could not believe it. We guessed it was going to be 9.5. I told you on Monday it was going to be 9.5, and I thought it was going to be 9.5 for the longest time until yesterday when we finally saw it was 6.5. Can't believe it. So I think Vegas is a little bit insulting the Bills here. And if you're a Bills fan, I would not take that. Show Vegas by hammering Bills -6 and get the win. And let them know, hey, don't disrespect the GOAT of Josh Allen. Don't disrespect the 2021 Super Bowl MVP Josh Allen. Come on. So Bills -6.5. Best bet of the week. Love it. That's our first pick in our locks. Alrighty, here we go. What else we got? Our next pick in our lock section is going to be Seattle -3. Folks, we just saw this meeting. How many times do I have to say this? We just saw this exact same game 2 weeks ago. Should I bring it up? Let's bring it up. We've got time here. Week 15. Maybe week 16. Yeah, week 16. Here we go. Week 16. Here we go. Rams Seahawks. After the Rams just came off of a loss from the Jets. Yes, you heard that correctly. They lost at week 15 to the Jets, folks. So coming off the loss to the Jets, you have to face division rival Seattle. And, winner gets the division. And who won the game? Seattle. And what did the Rams do? 9 points. Now let's look at Jared Goff. If he plays, I'm assuming Jared Goff is 100% playing. I told you all of this yesterday. Because of the spread, it's Seattle -3. That doesn't make sense to me. Why are they you get 3 points for being home field advantage. So why on a neutral field these two teams are the same without Jared Goff? I don't think so. So Walford's not playing. Goff's playing. So what did Jared Goff do against Seattle when he was 100% healthy pre the thumb surgery? 24 of 43 for 234 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Is that good? Darrell Henderson, 12 carries for 62 yards. Is he going to do better than that this game? Probably not. All right, let's see the receivers. Cooper Kupp, number 1 receiver, 8 receptions, 66 yards, no touchdowns. Robert Woods, 4 receptions, 48 yards, no touchdowns. So what did they do? What did the Rams do that is supposed to let me think that they're going to, 1, beat the Seahawks this season, and 2, cover the 3 points, because they're not. They can only score 3 points. So the Rams, they settle for field goals on every single one of their drives here, or, all their scoring drives. And now let's look at their not scoring drives. Every drive that was not a scoring drive, the 3 field goals, count those out. One drive, 3 and out, 9 yards. Another drive, 3 and out, 9 yards. Then they score the field goal. Then it's an interception drive. Then they're back to 3 and outs with 9 yards. Turnover on downs, 12 plays, 69 yards. Drive stalls. Then they're back with the field goal. But then they're back to 6 plays, 36 yards and a punt. And then their last drive is 7 plays, 22 yards. So they didn't move the ball at all, except on the drives that they scored field goals. And then the defense of Seattle shuts it down, and Jared Goff can't score in the red zone. So what are we afraid of here, folks? What are we afraid of the Rams? It's a banged-up Jared Goff coming off of surgery. Now, is the surgery going to, fix his mistakes? Probably not. I mean, are we just have to assume that Jared Goff was injured for this whole season? Because he hasn't been looking great this entire season. He's been looking like a game manager. And that's all this Rams team is. That's what Jared Goff is in a game manager. I don't even know if I go above average like I do Baker Mayfield and Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if I go that far. So, not good. They turned over the ball. Jared Goff's throwing interceptions. Now, let's talk about Seattle a little bit. Their offense isn't too impressive, but they've kind of got it figured out in the fourth quarter of this game against the Rams in Week 17. So, I understand that part, but it's only 3. We just saw this. It was 20-9. subtract the 3, 9-17. That's still a win for us. And I still think this game is going to play out exactly how the game played out 2 weeks ago. Rams cannot move the ball. Their offense, it's a little predictable. That's why they don't put up any points. And that's what we've been saying all season. This Rams offense is nothing special. Now, the Seahawks have a high offensive ceiling. We saw what they did kind of the first half of the season, going to DK Metcalf and him having explosive, catches down the field of like 50 yards, 40 yards, him chasing down pick sixes. So they've got the talent. They've got the ceiling offensively where the Rams don't have it. The Rams' offensive ceiling is very, very low, folks. Where Seattle, they can drop 35 if they wanted to. Playoffs, first round, Russell Wilson, always very good. Home, great. Rams, they're just a little bit too banged up. Now the defense is good, but Seattle was still able to manage 20 points their last meeting, week 16. So love the Seahawks -3 here. Russell Wilson in the playoffs, he always shows up. I don't think there was ever a time where he floundered in the playoffs, except maybe the Super Bowl, that pass on the 1 yard line. We all know it. So Seahawks -3, I just can't trust the Rams offense. That's really what it's boiling down to. I think that Seahawks and Rams have a very comparable defense. Now, if Jamal Adams doesn't go for Seattle, will that hurt them? Yeah, it will definitely hurt them a little bit, but they still have other pieces. It's not like Jamal Adams is, the only good thing about the Seattle's defense. We still like the Seattle's defense without Jamal Adams. Rams, they're going to have, Jalen Ramsey trying to lock up DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett should still be there. Josh Gordon, is he going to make an appearance here? We haven't seen him play. They've activated him. He's good to go. Does he play here? Playoffs for the against the Rams, and now you've got to try and cover Tyler Lockett and the speed of Josh Gordon, with DK Metcalf being kind of locked up with Jalen Ramsey. So can't trust the Rams offense. Jared Goff, he's coming off of surgery. Sure, I'm assuming he's playing, and we just saw what he does. It's 9 points. It's not converting. It's not finishing drives. It's not being good in the red zone. It's settling for field goals. That's what the Rams do. The Seahawks have the perfect bend but don't break defense. We've been seeing it all season, folks, from week 3, early in the season when they face the Patriots. Cam Newton gets on the 1 yard line. The Seattle defense stops them. They win the game. We've seen some big stops over and over again. Bend but don't break. I think the Seahawks had a bend but don't break moment last week, week 17, and they got the win. So love the Seahawks here, -3. Easy. Alrighty, let's go to our last pick in our lock section. And folks, if you know me, you should be able to guess which one we're going to. We're not taking the Bucs here in our locks, but we are going to take the game that Mitch Trubisky's in. Whatever game's Mitch Trubisky in, you can guarantee the other team swallow the points. That's a lock. So here it is, Saints -10. That will round out our locks. It's Mitch Trubisky, folks. I don't know how many times. This will be the last week we talk about him. This will be the last week we talk about Mitch Trubisky. I can guarantee you that, because he's not winning this game. There's no way the Bears win this game. There's no way the Bears win this game. I told y'all, I will bet the show. If you want to make a bet for the show, reach out to me. I will bet the show straight up. If the Bears win, I'll give you the show for free. You don't even have to put up anything as collateral in case, the Saints win. I don't care. I'll take 100% loss on my end by getting nothing in return. The Bears will not win. Mitch Trubisky will not do anything. He wants to air out the ball. So please, Matt Nagy, let Mitch Trubisky air out the ball. Let's see what happens against this Saints defense. At home. Drew Brees last year. You think Drew Brees last year, he's going to let Mitch Trubisky outplay him? Because I can guarantee you that's not going to happen. All the Saints have to do is lock up Allen Robinson. If you lock up him, Mitch Trubisky is going to look like a fish in a big old pond that just lost, all of his family members, because he can't find them. He's going to be lost out there. That's what I'm trying to get to. If Allen Robinson is locked up, Mitch Trubisky will be like, oh my goodness, I don't know who to go to. Remember that game that Sam Darnold said he was seeing ghosts? That's what Mitch Trubisky is going to be out here. Oh my goodness, look at these goblins out here. Look at these ghosts out here. Where is Allen Robinson? Where is he? And he's going to be locked up. He's going to be locked up by the Saints defense. So Mitch Trubisky can't do anything, folks. It was a must-win game for them last week at home against a division rival, and he flounders. He flounders. So we expect him to step up against the Saints here in New Orleans on Drew Brees' pretty much last season. I think it's not confirmed, but there has been a little bit of talk that I've been following on Twitter. Saints -10. We told y'all to take, it was Packers -5 last week. We told you to take it up to Packers -17. Let's see what it will kind of endorse here for the Saints. 22.5. That's what we'll go up to. Saints minus 22.5. You get it under the 24-point hook. Exactly. 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal. This is not going to be a close game, folks. Unfortunately for the Bears. The Bears are good. Their organization is good. Everything else about them is good. It's just, the Saints, the Mitch Trubisky cannot deliver the ball. He cannot accurately throughout an entire game deliver the ball where it needs to be on every single throw. He misses throws. He throws interceptions in the red zone. He throws almost interceptions in the red zone. You cannot trust this man. We've seen him not step up when his kind of contract's on the line. Why is he not absolutely balling after he just got benched for Nick Foles? He still hasn't learned. He didn't step up last week when it was a must-win. They're only in the playoffs because the Cardinals did not win. Unfortunate for the Cardinals. So, team sneaking in here, Bears, Colts, they shouldn't have been in. Can't trust Phillip Rivers, can't trust Mitch Trubisky. They're the same team. Now, I like the supporting cast of the Bears. I love Allen Robinson. I think he's great. Jimmy Graham's one of the best, safety blanket tight ends in the league. Mitch Trubisky loves him. He does have success with Jimmy Graham because why would you not? He's a perfect catching tight end. It's just the Saints are better. Drew Brees, he's got his weapon. Michael Thomas was practicing. Expect that man to play. Emmanuel Sanders is good. Alvin Kamara should be 100% healthy. He's got to clear COVID protocols. He's on track to do so. He's practicing virtually, getting in the rhythm still. And they got Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's better than Mitch Trubisky. Jameis Winston's better than Mitch Trubisky. I'd rather take Jameis Winston because I know he's going to throw 30 touchdowns with his 30 interceptions. Where Mitch Trubisky, I don't know if he's going to throw, 15 touchdowns to match his 15 interceptions. I don't know if I get that from him. So why are the Saints number 1, 2, and 3 quarterbacks, and one of the quarterbacks is like a tight end special weapon, and one's been benched? Why are they all better than Mitch Trubisky? I don't know. Mitch Trubisky gets blown out here. He's on the road. He'll flounder. He can't do anything. Saints, folks. Saints big all day. Take them minus 10. That's our official pick. Take them minus 22.5. We endorse it. It doesn't matter. They won't put up more than 14 points. They won't put up more than 14. They'll be lucky if they get 1 touchdown. So, let's take this off. Here we go. Our 3 official locks are Bills minus 6.5, Seahawks minus 3, and Saints minus 10. The odds are plus 577. You put 500 on this game, and you're walking away with $3,300, folks. That's pretty darn good, I will admit. Now, let's see what happens. Did you take my advice and mortgage your house last week and win $900,000? Well, if you're feeling very good, let's see what happens if you bet your winnings of last week, $900,000 on this 3-teamer right here. So $900,000. Folks, in 2 weeks you could have made $6 million. Come on. You could have made $6,073,920. Come on, this is easy. 2 weeks to go from, one house to a giant mansion. You could buy your own island, folks. Not $6 million in 2 weeks. It's that simple. It's that simple to make $6 million. Why is everybody else not a millionaire? It only takes 2 weeks. I don't get it. Bills minus 6.5, Seahawks minus 3, Saints minus 10. Locks, folks, locks. Bet whatever you want. Doesn't matter. They hit. It's not gambling when you know you're going to win, right? Alrighty, let's reset the board and do our 99% guarantees. Here we go. We're going to be picking the other 3 remaining games. So we're feeling very confident about Colts, Bills, Rams, Seahawks, Saints, Bears. So now the next game that we're feeling very confident about, and it's going to be our first pick in our 99% guarantees. It's Bucks minus 8. And folks, the only thing you have to worry about is Washington will not score the ball. They can't. Taylor Heineke is their best option, and it's about 50-50 whether he plays or not. So, and he's only played a quarter. So what I saw from that quarter was good, but still at the end of the day, it's only still a quarter. I could look good for a quarter. I think I have looked good for a quarter when I played football. So Bucks minus 8 here. It may seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's Tom Brady. He's got the extra motivation from Chase Young saying, hey, I want to come and get Tom Brady. The offensive line for the Bucks heard that as well. They're like, oh, he's going to get to Tom Brady? Well, we'll see about that. That's what I'm saying, Juju SmithSchuster, as we said at the top of the show. You're just giving, extra motivation that's, unnecessary. You don't need to give, a better team more fuel for their fire. And the Washington has done that a little bit with Chase Young's quote. Tom Brady's got weapons on weapons on weapons. If Mike Evans doesn't play, it really wouldn't even matter. He'll just throw to Gronk again for, 4 touchdowns if he needs to. AB is getting into the rhythm of it. What did he have? 2 touchdowns last week? Very, very good. I just saw a stat. I didn't think it was, newsworthy, but I will say it here. Antonio Brown's the only receiver in the playoffs that has not dropped a pass. He's got like 40 targets and he's caught them all. 48 maybe was the number, but 40 to 50, he's in that range, and he has not dropped a pass. Tom Brady is throwing darts, dimes all over the field to all of his weapons. It doesn't matter. Washington, they may be able to stop Tom Brady for a couple of drives. It may be a bad first half for Tom Brady. It could be. This could be, a 7-6 game, a 10-3 game, 10-7 game where the Bucs are actually down in the first half. But don't you worry, because we just saw Tom Brady and the Bucs absolutely explode in the second half of that Atlanta game last week. So they have the ability to do it. They've shown the ability to kind of not be good in the first half and still win the game. So don't worry about if the Bucs get down. They'll come back. Washington cannot score. So when the defense keeps stopping Tom Brady from scoring and they think they're winning, and then they look over on the field and they're like, damn, the offense, another 3 and out. I got to go back out there? I'm tired, man. Come on, give me some extra rest. Oh, Taylor Heineke just threw a pick on the red zone. Oh, my goodness. We just could have scored some points. We could have taken the lead. The defense is not going to be happy with the way the Washington offense performs on the field. The defense will get discouraged, and that's all Tom Brady needs, and that's when he'll light it up. So if he struggles in the first half, he'll still be able to get it in the second half because Washington's not scoring. Defense flounders because of that. And if he scores in the first half, then they'll be scoring throughout the entire game because Washington cannot stop him. If the Tampa Bay Bucs get up to a 20-0 lead, the game is over at that point. Call it. I want it to be like the UFC. Call the fight. It's a knockout. It's a game. Don't let this game continue on for 3 more quarters. You can't take it. Call the game. So Bucs here big. It's Tom Brady. Washington, really, their offense is atrocious. It's the worst offense in the playoffs right now. The Colts, I would rather see Phillip Rivers play than Alex Smith play, and you all know how much I don't like Phillip Rivers. Now, I'm not going to say I'd rather see Mitch Trubisky play than Alex Smith because I think that's going a little wonky too, but Washington, it's just their offense. They can't score. Their defense is fine. They may pick off Tom Brady once. They'll probably sack him twice. But at the end of the day, Washington's not putting up any points. So Bucs -8. Bucs minus, what can we get this one up to? Let's see what we can do here. Bucs minus -22. I wouldn't go that far. But, Bucs -8, it's very solid. It's, touchdown, field goal, no worries there. I'm telling you, Washington will not score more than 14. That's what it's going to come down to. So Bucs -8 is our first pick in our 99% guarantees. Alrighty, our next pick is going to go Ravens -3. Alrighty, this one I've been wrestling with, folks. I've been wrestling with it, but I think the Ravens are finally going to overcome the Titans. This Ravens team has not looked back ever since they got everybody healthy from COVID, folks. They've been looking fantastic ever since that point. The run game, they're rushing for 400 yards a game. Wild. And then we've seen, the ability. Lamar Jackson has slung the ball for like 250 plus yards. He's done it about like 4 or 5 times this season, maybe even more than that, honestly. He's thrown for 200, a couple probably more times than that, but 250 plus. But, so he's got the ability to throw the ball. It's just misdirection. You can study the film, but, at the end of the day, it's just reading the defensive end. That's all it's going to come down to. So you're damned if you do. If you play Lamar Jackson, he'll hand it off. If you play the running back, he'll keep it. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The sheer speed that they have, the sheer depth at running back, Gus Edwards, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins. You could put that man in the category for Offensive Rookie of the Year, honestly, and I would probably agree with the argument that you make. The man's playing fantastic. Now let's talk about Tennessee. Their defense has really been floundering. They haven't really been very solid. The offense has been a little up and down. We saw them against Green Bay, not looking good. We see them at home taking it down to we see them on the road against the Texans. Were they on the road? Who was at home for that game? Let's double check real quick because I may be talking nonsense. Texans, Titans last week. Where was that game played? It was played, if I can find the game. They didn't even face the Texans, so I was even bugging even more. Oh no, see, I'm on week 16, so I'm truly bugging all over the place. Week 17, here we go. I know they faced the Texans. And they were in Texans. So yeah, they were on the road for that game. They still gave up 38 points, which is not great, but they did put up 40 points. And that's something that the Titans have definitely been surprising me with. They've been putting up a lot of points this season. But, this is kind of the second time they're facing the Ravens this season. We saw meeting one. Derrick Henry wins in overtime, close game. It's just the Ravens, man. Their defense has been so good. They've been really clamping up their defense, really shoring up the defense. The offense has always been good, but they're shoring up the defense at the right time, folks, and that's exactly what you want. They held the Bengals last week to like 3 points. Now, I get it, it's the Bengals, and they don't have Joe Burrow and all that. I get it. But still, a must-win game, and they blow them out of the water. We saw a must-win game from the Bears, and they lost. We saw a must-win game from the Colts, and they almost lost. So, and the Dolphins must-win game, they lost. So we've seen teams must win and not do what they're supposed to do. So we knocked them for it. So let's praise the Ravens a little bit for doing what they're supposed to do. Let's not knock them for doing what they're supposed to be doing. Ravens revenge game. They faced in the playoffs last season. They didn't game plan for Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry ran all over them. I'm pretty sure they're going to be game planning for Derrick Henry this game, which makes Ryan Tannehill a little bit worse because he really feeds off that play action. He really feeds off that run for the deep shots. Now these corners for the Ravens, they've got a tough competition for these receivers. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, they're great wide receivers, folks. And the Ravens, they have shutdown corners. They got shutdown corners, so it's not going to be any it'll be a decent matchup, probably 50-50. They'll probably win one, defense wins one, offense wins one, defense wins one, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a close game. So we're going to take the Ravens to win. It's just the Titans have beaten them too many times. I think the Ravens finally pulled it out, which is a little unfortunate for the Titans because they've got a great squad, and when they lose this week, everybody's going to be talking about, the Titans, they need to make the switch because, they can't win a championship on their current roster. So now they're going to be looking at Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, and they really work very well together. And whatever you do, you cannot get rid of Derrick Henry because he could potentially go down as the best running back of all time. And he's already the best running back in the league for the past 2 seasons, and it really hasn't even been close. So then you have to start looking at Ryan Tannehill, and I don't want to see him out of a job because he's been playing actually really good football, but you just can't rely on him. Whereas Lamar Jackson, if I need him to kind of lead my team, I would trust him because he doesn't turn the ball over, and he's proven that he can take the shots down the field. Dez Bryant's been getting warmed up a little bit. Could you imagine in this game if Dez Bryant makes like a game-winning contested catch in the back of the end zone? I mean, folks, all this could happen. So this is going to be a great game. I honestly cannot wait for this game. Going to be great. So much rivalry, so much bad blood between these two teams. The coaches were even getting into a fight at like midfield before the game started when they first faced, I think, week 11. So huge rivalry here. The spread's low. Ravens -3. We're going to swallow the 3 points. I think this is the game that the Ravens take. They've been looking so unstoppable on offense lately, where the Titans, we just saw them against the Packers, and that game left a real bad taste in my mouth, truly, folks. So we're going to take Ravens -3. Alrighty, and then the last game that we have to talk about, our last pick here. Once again, I've been kind of wrestling with this pick, but I'm going to go Browns +6 here. The only game I'm taking the points on. I'm swallowing points in every single game, but here I think you get some decent value with the good team, Browns +6. All right, now let's talk about the Browns. A lot of COVID out there, a lot of coaches with COVID not going to be able to kind of be out there, and the biggest name is Kevin Stefanski, folks. I mean, he deserves all the credit. You can put him in the conversation for Coach of the Year, and I would maybe agree with you if your arguments were good. But I can definitely buy that. I can definitely buy that. Kevin Stefanski's Coach of the Year. The turnaround that he's had from last season with Freddie Kitchens. Kevin Stefanski here, 11 wins, upgraded, playoffs, perfect. Baker Mayfield's playing fantastic game manager football, and now Kevin Stefanski's not going to be calling plays. So how is the offense going to look? We don't know. Is Baker Mayfield going to be, asking for a little bit more, knowing that he can get away with a little bit more because he's got a new, play caller here? Possibly. The Browns running game, they need to stick to it. Hopefully they do. I'm assuming they would, but the last time I assumed that they would, stick to the run, it was 2 weeks ago when they faced the Jets and they had no wide receivers and Kevin Stefanski passed it 53 times for some odd reason. So if the Browns stick to a running game against the Steelers, they'll keep it close. It'll be a close game and the +6 will hit, and that's what I'm assuming is going to happen here. Just let Baker Mayfield maybe throw it 23, 25 times, just be a game manager. Let Kareem Hunt, let Nick Chubb both run 17 times. Let them get going. If it doesn't get going in the first quarter, first half, keep it going. It will eventually break down. That's what Derrick Henry does on the Titans. Derrick Henry has 30 rushes every single game, folks, and you get those numbers by running consistently throughout all the 4 quarters. Not just running good in one quarter, not just running good in the second quarter, not just running good in the third quarter. It takes the entire game to get that many, 30, 35 carries. All right, Steelers. I think it's going to be a little bit of a mistake of not playing Big Ben last week. I mean, he has to stay into some game rhythm here. He has to stay in some game shape. He's been dinking and dunking a lot this season, so, the deeper balls, they've been a little hit and miss throughout the games. Usually takes them into the second half to finally get going. When have we said that before? Seattle. We can't really buy them too much. Now, the Steelers' defense is fantastic. I love everything about it. TJ Watt's the best Watt brother, one of the better defensive ends in the game. They got great corners, one of the best safeties in the game, Minka Fitzpatrick, absolutely fantastic. So they got great defensive pieces, but we've seen the Steelers team struggle these last 6 weeks of the season. And, resting Big Ben and not having that chemistry between Big Ben and the wide receivers, I think that was the reason for all the drops. They're like, hang on, I'm used to dink and dunk. Now you're starting to go 10, 15 yards down the field. We're not kind of used to that because, we've been dinking and dunking all season. Now you finally got the receivers to kind of respond positively in the second half of that Colts game, and then it's week 17, and you put in Mason Rudolph once again, kind of erasing all that kind of rhythm and repetition and great work that you just did against the Colts. So I really think Big Ben sitting last week was a huge mistake. I get that they were, essentially playing for nothing since Buffalo won and there was no way to get the 2 seed. But I mean, the Steelers did not earn a game off, a week 17 game off. I mean, you are 11-0 and now you're 11-5. I mean, it's or 12-4. What's their official record? Let me go back. Official record. That's all I'm trying to look for. Here it is. 12-4. So, I mean, 11-0 to 12-4, you're losing at the end of the season. You can't take games off at the end of the season if you don't earn them. Packers, Chiefs, they earned it. They earned the game off. So, Steelers wasn't kind of too happy with Big Ben going out. The running game still did not get started. Last week was the time to experiment and get ready and, try to do something else to really, all right, this kind of works. Because if you were playing it as not a must-win game, why weren't you running the ball and getting that established for next week? So little inconsistencies here on the Steelers with Mike Tomlin's decision, hey, we're resting some players because we don't want to win, but we're also not going to establish the running game because we want to win? I don't get it. I don't get the overall game plan there for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers last week. Now, once again, the Browns, they showed their hand a little bit. They showed kind of everything since it was kind of, a must-win game in the eyes of the Browns here. So, the Steelers have extra, footage on tape for them. I mean, the Steelers could literally just do nothing that they did last week. They could do that. They could be like, all right, everything that we showed out there on tape is kind of a placebo, a little mirage. Hey, we're going to do this, and then we're going to kind of reverse everything. So, hey, that kind of motion where Big Ben kind of swings out right, and the play went to the right, but we're going to swing Big Ben out to the right and go left this time because, the Browns may be focusing heavy on the tape from last week. I mean, if you're facing a team and you just faced them in week 17, you're probably going to focus heavy on that tape of, the latest that they just put out, right? So if the Steelers, Mike Tomlin could be playing big brain IQ here, he may have been like, hey, yeah, we're going to try and win this game. We're definitely going to try and win this game, week 17. And, then we're going to switch everything. We're literally switching everything from week 17 to, this playoff game. So could be in that. But at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield, Man, I'm talking myself out of this Browns +6. Everything I've just said has kind of taken me out of Browns +6, but I think we're going to still rock with it here. It's just the knocks against the Browns now. Let's talk about some knocks against the Browns. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he's fumbling, and that's not good. That's really, I don't care. Like, the interceptions I may be able to live with, but those fumbles, that's something that you really kind of don't clean up. Now, Josh Allen has, and I respect him for it, but Baker Mayfield's not. He's fumbling multiple times and at the worst times, and they're not looking good. And he fumbled 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Oh man, against that Jets team, that was something else to watch for that Browns team. And now Kevin Stefanski's out. It's really going to come down to the play calling, how conservative they are with Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield throws less than 25 times, they cover the 6. If he throws more than 25 times, then it's anybody's guess at this point. All right, final argument here. Browns Steelers. We're going Browns +6. Big Ben. Don't think he's going to kind of be in the rhythm with all the wide receivers. They flounder a little bit. Game is close. Playoff games are usually kind of close depending on, who's playing. Division games are usually close as well. This is the division game they just faced last week. We're going to take the 6 points because we think the game is going to be close, folks. The game's going to be close, and you give me the 6 here. Browns, a little extra motivation by Juju SmithSchuster, a little bit of extra motivation by, the offensive linemen being out and, all the COVID news. So they're just trying to have a solid win, players banding together. Hey, let's go win this one for everybody that couldn't be here today. We're going to go Browns +6 here. If out of all the games, this is the one that I'm having the most trouble on, but we're going to take the points here. Browns +6. That's the play. Alrighty, here we go. All right, here we go. Bucks -8, Ravens -3, Browns +6. The odds are +575. So you put 500 on this, you're walking away with $3,300, kind of like our locks as well. Looking very, very good. Love these picks, folks. I really, really love all these picks. Even the Browns +6. I'm still going to rock with it. It's a lot of points to get. This Browns team, they've proven themselves this season. It's just, can they do it in the biggest game? Can the Steelers get back on track? We'll see. Big Ben didn't play last week. I think that's really going to come down to the biggest factor here. Big Ben not playing last week, getting out of rhythm. Juju Smith-Schuster. That quote here, this is just the Browns. That gives extra motivation to the Browns, unnecessary motivation to the Browns, and the Browns pull out maybe a close loss here. We'll take the 6. Alrighty, tomorrow we are live, baby, noon Eastern, and we got playoff games, so we'll take you right up to the minute. I think the Bills game is 105, I believe. 105? If it's 140, we'll come live at 1 o'clock. If it's 105, then we'll come live at our normal time of noon Eastern, which I think it is. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, 105. So we'll be back here noon Eastern, getting us ready for a full day of playoff football. We'll be looking at some prop bets, inspecting some more prop bets, last second best bets. We'll also be looking at the Bills-Texans playoff game from last season. I want to watch it again. We can't watch, the entire game, but there is a nice little highlight package here of 18 minutes. So we'll kind of break this down. How did Josh Allen look in this game? I remember it. I want to see if it's exactly how I remember it. First drive, a lot of misdirection, a lot of trick plays that ended up getting Josh Allen the only touchdown he had all game in their first drive. So we'll rewatch this game, get us ready for the Bills-Colts game, 1 o'clock game, best bets for the rest of the games as well. We'll be back here live noon Eastern with our final thoughts and best bets of Saturday's playoff games. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Go bet all those picks, folks. Bet those picks. Bet them, bet them, bet them. You could have had $900,000 this week. That's not my problem. That's a you problem. You can fix it by betting our picks this week. Alrighty, we're out of here, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow every single day. Come on. If you ever have it's Takes by Fans on today. Yes, it's on. It's on all the time. All right,